We are back again with more World Cup action. We have Joris from India and Corazon from France, I believe. Yeah, France. And it looks like Joris is using a stall team, which is a little different from what we saw last time. Just adjusting the screen so maybe you can see the top just a little more. Yeah, okay. And let me see these are the qualifying standings right now. So India is currently 1-0. France is currently 0-1. France is usually a favorite of the tournament, but they were relegated last year, which is why they're playing in the qualifying bracket now. So we see Toxapex into Clefable. Usually when you see a Clefable lead, it's something like Trick. It's either Stealth Rock or it's Trick Sticky Barb. Trick Sticky Barb is a really unique idea it's always been a little popular, but basically the idea is to trick a Sticky Barb onto something and then go to work with either Calm Mind or something that synergizes. So lead Thunderwave, not Trick Sticky Barb. And basically it's going to come down to, can Corazon break down the stall team? So you look at the breakers that Corazon might have. He might have Swords Dance Weavile, which would get walled by Unaware Clefable. Typically Clefables run Magic Guard, but on stall they would run Unaware for setup sweepers, right? So Weavile might struggle. It can't break Toxapex, it cannot break Clefable. A Rotom, Nasty Plot Rotom, looks like it's walled by Gastrodon, right? So Nasty Plot Rotom wouldn't be able to do anything. Heatran with Magma Storm and Taunt can break through, but typically on stall you're going to see Shed Shell Toxapex. So that could be why Toxapex switched out of Clefable, because they didn't want to take a knockoff and lose a Shed Shell. So typically the combination of Toxapex, Shed Shell, and especially defensive Slowking and Blissey and Gastrodon should handle Heatran. Clefable looks like it's a support set, so it can't really break. Tornadus can spread knockoff, be really annoying. And Regenerator is really annoying because, okay, so it is knockoff Clefable. We don't know what it would have gone to. Probably, this might be like a Calm Mind Slowking maybe, like a win condition. Garchomp is walled by Corviknight usually, but if it has Fire Fang it can break through. But even then, Unaware Clefable can be annoying to it, right? Yeah, these pairs don't really matter in the long run. Like 2 in a row doesn't really matter. So I'm thinking the key for France to win is maybe try and get some knocks with Torn and then try winning. Regenerator Torn is really going to be annoying and it can really make this game long. Like this game will be a long game, definitely. So Moonblast, this is singles for you, right? 45 on the Sludge Bomb. Clefable will have to recover now. Slowking can just stay in, do whatever it wants. But I'm thinking India does have the matchup advantage, but it does depend on some of the movesets, right? One thing to note is maybe Choice Band beat up Weavile could go really hard because Choice Banded beat up is really strong and Triple Axel would 2-hit KO Clefable, so it'll turn into a little bit of a prediction game. That could be the idea. But I think early on I am going to give the matchup advantage to India, but it does really depend on the movesets that France has here. Moonblast, just recover. Or not. Now you're getting a little risky, but it's not a big deal. Clefable cannot break. Even if you get paralyzed a few times, you can always recover. Yeah, okay, slack off. Is it Stealth Rock Heatran or is it Stealth Rock Garchomp? If it's Stealth Rock Heatran, then it might be Swords Dance Garchomp. If it's Stealth Rock Garchomp, it could be Magma Storm, Taunt, Earth Power, Toxic Heatran. I think this should be Shed Shell Toxapex, the way it switched out of Clefable early on. So Shed Shell Toxapex can come in, take a Magma Storm, and then switch out. And Magma Storm only has 8 PP, so in the long run it's fine. Yeah, that's basically it right now. 49 users. Usually this can get up to 100, 200 if it's a big game. These are qualifying games, so it doesn't get as much attention. Yeah, Toxapex does switch into Magma Storm. No Black Sludge reveal, so this is a Shed Shell to escape the trap from Heatran. Because Heatran can actually beat Toxapex with Taunt and Earth Power. So this is definitely Shed Shell. Knockoff. Rocky Helmet gone from Clefable, that's good. You have a free switch into Slowking Galar here. So it's just going to be a little bit of a back and forth constantly, but I don't really see how Corazon can break through. And from a content perspective, I don't know what to do here. The game is going to be, a little bit dry, a little bit boring. Do you really want to see 45 minutes of, Toxapex, Slowking, Galar versus Clefable and Heatran. So I'm like in half of mine just to cut it, like cut only the important parts of the game, just to make it like watchable from like an entertainment point of view. And I think I might actually do that, because you're just going to see a lot of switching back and forth. And the problem is, sometimes there is some nuance to the switching, which is valuable, like insightful, and will set up things later in the game. So even if I cut then, does it like matter? I don't know. Anyways, Corviknight is basically a counter, and it only really struggles if it's Fire Fang, Swords Dance, Garchomp, which is somewhat rare, and even if it is, Unaware Clefable can wall it anyway. So we'll see right now, what does the Garchomp reveal to us? Is it, Swords Dance, basically? If it sets up Stealth Rock here, it's pretty comfortably not going to be a threat. It can be annoying with like PP issues because it can rest if it wants to. Rocky Helmet rest could be annoying, but I don't think this would run Ice Beam, and even if it would run Ice Beam, you don't risk it on Garchomp right now. You always go to Corviknight. Yeah, you always go to Corviknight. Garchomp, Stealth Rock Garchomp, so that means it must be like Taunt Heatran. And typically with Stealth Rock Garchomp, what you have to remember is that Stealth Rock has 32 PP, but Defog only has 24 PP. But Corviknight's pressure works on Stealth Rock, so you notice Stealth Rock took 2 PP worth, right? So if Corviknight switch... Ooh, it's Stealth Rock Sword Stance, which is interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so this is the type of thing I was mentioning, that it depends on the movesets. Can this Garchomp break through, right? Stealth Rock, Iron Defense, so no. Corviknight with Iron Defense cannot be broken through by Garchomp. But as I was saying, Stealth Rock PP, because it's losing 2 every time, Corviknight can defog all the Stealth Rock. So Stealth Rock will not be an issue for Joris' team. And that is a big deal, because versus Stall, you really want residual damage. So if you can get Stealth Rock up, that means you can constantly put pressure by, double switching, predicting, racking up Stealth Rock damage each time. So not being able to get Stealth Rock up is going to be a big deal. And I don't see how Corazon breaks through. Defog, Rotom Wash comes in. This could be like Trick Choice Scarf, but even if it is Trick Choice Scarf, Gastrodon gets tricked if it's not Sticky Hold, but even then Blissey can wall it. So even Slowking can wall it, even Unaware Clefable can wall it. So a Rotom Wash, you have to be a little careful about managing the potential Choice Scarf trick, but it's not really a threat, and more often they're actually Nasty Plot. Yeah, Gastrodon, yeah, Volt Switch. We don't know anything. It could be Choice Scarf, could be Nasty Plot. Clefable comes in on Scald. Now you have a free switch in back to Slowking Galar, who can throw off a Sludge Bomb, go for a Poison, go for a Scald Burn. I believe these do run Scald. Sludge Bomb, Slack Off, Calm Mind, right? Yeah. And Garchomp does not have Rest, so I think it'll be really hard for Garchomp to pressure Slowking. Like right now, Slowking can go for Sludge Bomb, it can go for Scald, right? What do? Do you go to Tornadus? I mean, even Torn getting a Sludge Bomb poisoned is a big deal. You can't go to Heatran either because you take Scald damage. I mean, you can go to Heatran, but you take Scald damage and you don't make progress because of Shed Shell Toxapex here. So we'll see how it goes here. They go to Tornadus on a Sludge Bomb poison on a Scald, okay? Burn. I'm not sure you actually want the burn. You probably want Tornadus Toxic instead. That could be... No, I don't think it's really an issue because Slowking has Calm Mind. So even if it is Nasty Plot Tornadus, it's not going to, break through, right? So probably even it's already knocked off. That's not an issue too. So I think we're going to see a U-turn and then maybe a Calm Mind from Slowking. Slowking can definitely win condition here. Heat Wave, that's not doing anything. Scald again. I think the last move would be Calm Mind. This set is trending, where you use Calm Mind Scald. Yeah, Scald. So now you have another uncomfortable decision. What do you switch into Slowking here? If you go to Rotom Wash, I mean, nothing on the team really likes switching into Sludge Bomb Scald. Clefable on a Sludge Bomb, maybe? No, nothing. Okay. Now you go back to Tornadus, and Tornadus might try to PP stall a Slowking because it has Regenerator to keep switching in and out. So I imagine Tornadus is going to come back in. So Slowking is just going to Sludge Bomb here. And Sludge Bomb is only 16 PP, so that's something to keep in mind. I think right now is probably where you reveal Calm Mind if you have it. Yeah, Tornadus T comes back in. Scald, you have to be really mindful of PP right now. You don't want to be wasting too much PP. Let's see what they do here. Again, another U-turn probably into Clefable, probably into Heatran. Okay, Scald takes damage, 23 only. It's leftover as Heatran, but Heatran itself can't really make progress versus, Toxapex with Shed Shell. We'll see what happens here, like Gastrodon, Toxapex, it's too much to handle. Garchomp predicting Toxapex, but again, you can't make the progress because Corviknight will always come in and it will always defog versus the Garchomp here. Right, Corviknight always comes in. Stealth Rock loses 2 PP, Corviknight will defog always. You can't really punish it besides Heatran, get some more health back, but Heatran itself cannot punish Toxapex or whatever it may be. And Stealth Rock, Garchomp, and... yeah, so again, the stall looks unbreakable. Toxapex comes in, if you want Stealth Rock, you always go Corviknight. There's no need to make any predictions or anything like that, right? Now you Iron Defense. Iron Defense has less PP than Swords Dance, that is something to keep in mind, right? Iron Defense does have less PP than Swords Dance. Yeah, Stealth Rock loses 2 more PP now, and Defog will remove the hazards. You probably go to Heatran again to get that leftovers recovery back. Yeah, you go to Heatran, keep getting leftovers recovery, defog. You always go to Toxapex, you don't do anything crazy like predict the Garchomp switch and body press here, right? You don't do anything crazy like that. You always go to Toxapex, and now you always go to Corviknight, because these plays are risk-free, they're guaranteed to have a good outcome. So you can always make these plays without any real concern. Right, so you can always go to Corviknight here. I mean, if you really want... actually, could you knock off here? But you don't die to Earthquake, right? So should you knock off to remove the item? No, you don't do it, right? Yeah. Corviknight into Torn. Torn will probably try and U-turn or knock off. You always go to Slowking so you don't lose an item on anything, because Slowking is already knocked off. Yep, now Heatran, you always go to Toxapex, and I'm just repeating myself at this point. The stall is playing, it's very straightforward to play, right? Very important, you don't let yourself get knocked off here, right? You don't let Toxapex get knocked off because it has Shed Shell for Heatran. Now, I think you should reveal Calm Mind. I think Nasty Plot even better. I mean, not even better, but like a little more challenging to deal with. Yeah, I don't see how Corazon can win the game. You always go to Toxapex. Magma Storm, running out of PP. You can always play around the Magma Storm here. And even if you chip down Toxapex enough for Weavile, even if you do it, Weavile cannot break through Unaware Clefable, right? You always go to Slowking here, and Clefable can't do anything. And again and again and again, it's just a repeat process wasting PP. You always go to Corviknight. There's no reason to take any sort of risk besides going Corviknight. Probably Stealth Rock loses more PP, now you defog. And it is exciting gameplay, as you can see, exciting gameplay. Let me fix the screen, yeah. Okay, so Weavile, will it try and knock off here? Or is it trying to bait body press PP? Is that the idea? To try and bait PP? That looks to be the idea. So that could be an idea, to try and waste all 15 body press PP. By using Weavile to bait in Corviknight, and then switching out, long term, because you have Regenerator, you can try and waste all 15 body press PP. Garchomp comes back in, you always go to Corviknight, you always defog. I mean, if you want, you could Scald here, but... right? Waste more PP. And I imagine Corazon is doing this so that in the future, he can double switch, right? So by setting the tone that he's always going to Stealth Rock with Garchomp, Joris doesn't get any ideas of trying to predict. You see, now he's going back to Garchomp. I wonder, do you knock off just to remove the item? It's risky to do so. I think you go Corviknight here. Stealth Rock goes back up, wasting more PP, now defog. Heatran is back at full. Um, I'm gonna pause the video. You're gonna see more of the same type of Garchomp Toxapex switching out. If something eventful happens, I will unpause the video. Okay, big. Weavile gets sacrificed. So basically, it was a similar Garchomp Corviknight situation, and he went Weavile, predicting the defog, but Jorth went for a body press on the predicted Weavile. So big play. Should I put the crowd chat like on the screen? Like when people like see something really hype and the chat goes crazy, it's pretty fun to watch. But other than that, it can be distracting. I think for big games, I'll put the chat down. So big, like this is over. Like the Weavile gets knocked out here, it's over. Like it was an unnecessary play. You didn't have to do it, but he did it, and now Weavile is gone, and I don't see how you break the stall team. The stall team is just way too overpowered. What you have to do now is you have to really pressure the fact, like from France's point of view, is you have to really pressure the fact that you have Stealth Rock up now. Now you have to try and, really play aggressively with switching. You take damage here into Storm Drain, unfortunately. So you really have to play around trying to get damage with Stealth Rock on all these different Pokemon. Skull 35, that's really big. Don't let Gastrodon get knocked off. So, for example, say you go to Slowking Galar here, you're going to take Stealth Rock damage. So you can go Garchomp predicting Slowking, right? Then they go to Corviknight on Garchomp, then you switch Heatran predicting Corviknight, you get some Stealth Rock damage on Corviknight. And slowly but surely you can try and pressure with Stealth Rock. But that is really an uphill battle. Yeah, basically what the tournament chat is saying about it. Corviknight gets in on Clefable, which I don't think is the right play. Do you really want Corviknight knocked off? So I imagine on a stall team you have Heal Bell on either Blissey or Clefable, but this is not the right play, is it? Right, you get Thunder Waved. Now you go to Clefable. So the immediate Clefable makes me think it is Heal Bell Clefable, like to immediately go Clefable there, right? You've never gone Clefable before, now you do. It's probably Heal Bell. Toxapex on Torn. Again, don't let your Toxapex get knocked off. You cannot afford that to happen. You always go Slowking Galar. Clefable. So yeah, he's really going aggressive with Clefable. That is Heal Bell Clefable, definitely. Like the way you switch it in. There. Okay, yeah. So the Paralysis cured, you always go to Slowking. U-turn probably incoming here. I mean, Heal Bell, Soft Boiled, and what else do you have? Now you go to Slowking. Now you put pressure, right? Do you Nasty Plot here, right? Nasty Plot maybe? No Nasty Plot, you Scald, okay? But yeah, without Weavile, this looks unwinnable. Yeah. Nasty Plot here, Heatran. And you don't stay in, right? Do you? I mean, no, you never stay in, right? You always go to Toxapex. Yeah, you never stay in. Yeah, you always go Toxapex. Magma Storm, definitely Shed Shell by this point. You always knock off here to remove Heatran's leftovers just in case it tries to stay in. Light Screen, interesting. So knock off, Light Screen, Recover, and then Haze. But if you're unaware Clefable, you might not need Haze. So knock off, Light Screen, Recover, and then an optional move like Scald or Toxic or whatever it may be. So does this win now? Nasty Plot Slowking with Light Screen support from Toxapex. Does it win? I mean, maybe, right? Heatran comes back in, Nasty Plot. 2 turns left. You could go for the win, I think. You do. Oh, critical hit. Okay, that's what he needed. And this could be an all-time choke to lose Slowking Galar here. So the game is not over yet. Ooh, okay, so so Heavy Storm, does it imply no taunt? You can't really say that, right? But like, why risk the Slowking like that? Always go Toxapex. You don't need to go for the win. Like, ooh. Now, taunt. I mean, this has Earth Power too. Earth Power probably does enough. Might do like 40, right? Ooh, this is definitely tough. Now, losing Slowking is a big deal because it was kind of, Heavy Slam, so it might not have taunt. Okay. He's getting a little bit bailed out here that it doesn't have taunt, or at least it appears not to have taunt. It appears not to be taunt, okay. So it's not taunt Heatran. That could have been very scary very fast because of that critical hit. You always slack off, yeah. Magnum Storm at 4 PP2. Yeah, now you go to Toxapex. Protect. Oh, okay, so this is not taunt. Yeah, that was really scary, kind of, right? Light Screen again. Now you can try the same thing again with a Toxapex. I mean, yeah, with Slowking Galar. You can go back to it. Even if they predict Slowking Galar and they go to Garchomp, doesn't matter. You always go Corviknight. What is he doing? Like, he predicted Garchomp here, but that was such a bad risk because Garchomp could have, I mean, they could have knocked off here to remove the item on Toxapex. And again, you always go to Toxapex here. Garchomp, predict. Ooh, that was such a bad play to risk getting knocked off by Clefable. The game is won, you just have to not choke it. And a game between China and Bangladesh just started right now, so Uzi Gunner for Bangladesh and Separation for China. We might switch over to this game, if this game is still pretty boring. Iron Defense, I don't think Garchomp might try to break through with a crit. No, it's not. It's going to switch out. Again, you always go to Slowking Galar here. They probably go to Garchomp. You can body press predicting Garchomp, but I don't think you do. You always go Slowking Galar. Tornadus T. Now you Nasty Plot. Or not. Toxapex. Yeah, more PP stalling. And Toxapex makes it predict. They use Toxic on the Garchomp trying to Swords Dance. So he finally does make it predict. It was unnecessary. You can always win by going Corviknight, but he made it predict. And now Garchomp is Toxic, and that is a big deal. Because the whole, switching game doesn't work. If your Garchomp is Toxic. So this is over. This game's over by now. Yeah. Nothing can break. It was over on turn 0, but you had to play and try and force mistakes on the stall team, but realistically you could never break through without a mistake. And there were mistakes, but none consequential enough. Rotom Wash on the Corviknight, and Rotom Wash is completely walled by Gastrodon. Now Blissey gets Stealth Rock up, which can be annoying for Heatran type ideas, but more realistically it won't matter, because if Garchomp gets Stealth Rock up too, Corviknight is going to defog it. They defog it anyways. Okay, so it's Defog Torn with Heavy Duty Boots probably. I mean, definitely. Yeah, this is not looking different. And finally, we do see the forfeit, because this was unbreakable. Like, you could not break through. So, 141 turns later, India moves up to 2-0 right now, and France moves down to 1-2. They, at the beginning of the video, they were 0-1, so they won a game in the meantime, and now they're 1-2 again. And yeah, looking forward for the next game. Let me know what you want to see in the videos. And right now, there's China versus Bangladesh that's already going on right now, but I don't think I'll cover it right now. I will let you know the result though later after. But yeah, thank you for watching.